Right through the 1970s, you had all these fabulous batsmen, and then you didn't seem to win any games. And then in 1987, but particularly in 1988, something happened. You went to the Caribbean, arguably played against the greatest side the world's ever seen, drew the series. Why the sudden improvement? What happened?
I think we had players who played for the team. There was a very strong team spirit. We didn't have a lot of talent in the team. I mean, compared to the 70s, we had a very talented lineup. But we actually had a very motivated team. There was a lot of self-esteem, and they fought a lot. I mean, the West Indians were clearly on paper a better team than us, because that same team destroyed England 4-0 a few months later, and then went to Australia and destroyed Australia 4-1 or 4-0. So, you know, for us, I mean, it was a tremendous series, and in the Caribbean, which was a 1-1 draw, and, you know, probably one of the best series played there.
And, of course, this is when you really established your mark on the team. What do you need to be captain of Pakistan? What sort of qualities did you call on, and what style did you use in your leadership?
I think captaincy anywhere is the same style, really. You know, to have a strategy, to be able to make the players play as one, you know, give them self-esteem, make them play beyond themselves, and make them play as a team, get rid of the individualistic players, you know, try and actively think of team players who in the selection process, and above all, never expect the team to do what you can't do yourself. You know, I mean, there's no point in expecting the team to perform when you yourself are, or make them practice when you yourself don't want to. And I suppose, I suppose, I mean, there are a lot of other aspects, but I mean, I'm just saying, generally, you have to lead by example. You can't expect the team, you know, to just by speeches do anything. You have to show them the way. And
your example was excellent, and so I was surprised to read where you said that cricket had prepared you for later life, had not prepared you for later life. What did you mean by that?
In what sense do you mean?
Well, in your book, you talk about the fact that cricket doesn't prepare you for anything to go on. You finish your career, that's it.
Oh, in the sense, you see, when you leave cricket, you become a professional, or you have single-mindedly pursued a career for such a long time, and then suddenly you have to make a change of career. Of course, some people don't. They still keep associated with the game. But, you know, for instance, I mean, I changed and tried to build this hospital, and I tell you, I had no idea. I mean, I had no idea how to raise money, how to go around asking people for money. I knew nothing about anything about hospital building. So it was a whole new life and a whole new education for me. So what I'm trying to say is that when you change professions, and still you are relatively young in life, I mean, you're still in your late 30s, early 40s, and you have to completely change and then start competing with people who are professionals, who've been going in at it for 15 years, you know, it is a major, major trauma in your life.
You've been very successful at this. Is this because you were such a great cricketer and you're revered in Pakistan for it, or is it because of your status? We're always unsure where you stand in this. I've heard you described as the prince of batsmen. Are you a prince in Pakistan? Where are you in that caste system? What's going on there?
Not at all. Nothing like a prince or anything. In fact, you know, I'm by blood, or my origins are, I'm a Pathan. And the Pathans, the one thing we were always taught was that no one is above you and no one is below you. You know, I mean, we used to ask our father, you know, what class do we belong? And he said, you know, you're not above anyone or below anyone, which is a very Pathan attitude. It's an egalitarian society. So there is no such thing as class I belong to. And you know, my success in this hospital was actually one thing I learned from cricket, and that was perseverance. You know, because having had so many 21 years career, so many ups and downs, you realize that when you're down, you don't give up, you keep trying, and as long as you keep working and trying, you will go up again.
Imran, why a cancer hospital? We all know about your mother dying of liver cancer. Many of us have had close relatives die of liver cancer too, but we haven't started the appeal that you've started. Why Imran Khan, a cancer hospital? Is it to do with your people? Is it a wide thing? Is it to do with what you've seen in England compared with what you've seen in Pakistan?
Yeah, well, let me explain. I mean, my mother, when she fell ill, I took her to England. So I saw the treatment she got there, but it was already too late by the time I took her to England because they couldn't diagnose it in Pakistan. Anyway, so after a while, I had to take her back to Pakistan because they told me that, look, if it goes into the liver, the cancer moves into the liver, there's no point in bringing her here because she can't survive. So then we had to see her for the next 5 months. We saw her in Pakistan, 4 months, and saw her suffer. And then saw the level of medical care in Pakistan, especially in cancer. And so that opened my eyes up. I mean, until then, I didn't realize that there wasn't a cancer hospital in Pakistan. And then also, I began to realize that if I, with all the resources, could not help my mother, what happens to the common man? And that was the reason why the hospital is being built, because it is for the common man who can neither afford cancer treatment right now, neither if you can spend money, you have nowhere to go. You have to be able to spend enough money to go abroad, and hardly anyone can do that. And there's something like 700,000 to 800,000 fresh cases of cancer every year.
How's the project going? Have you got a lot of people in behind you?
The masses are behind me. I've had 1.3 million individual donations so far, and we are fairly close. I mean, we are about 75% to 80% near the completion. The structure is almost complete. We have to do the finishing now and install the equipment.
How can New Zealanders help you?
I'm here on this trip, which was organized by the Anglican Aged Care Charity. So 50% of the proceeds go there, and I think it's a great cause. And then 50% come to the cancer hospital in Pakistan. So if people want to donate, they can give money to the Bank of New Zealand.
Any branch of the Bank of New Zealand. Yeah. And so New Zealanders can help out. Somebody said to me, well, why is he over here? We've got enough problems in our own country. Surely we should be looking after our own. Is the problem so immense in Pakistan that a country like New Zealand should get in behind it?
Well, to be honest with you, in the beginning, I didn't want to come because I also feel what you say. And I also, I have only so far collected money from the Pakistanis in Pakistan or abroad, feeling that it's their cause and they should contribute. But in the end, I decided to come because I feel that, it's time we broke barriers. We should think of human beings. It's pointless. I mean, I should come and raise money for the Anglican Aged Care only because they're also human beings. And similarly, people from here should also give money to a cause where the benefit will be for humans. This nationalism, I'm actually quite against nationalism. I think that nationalism leads to exploitation of other people. It sort of regards the world as them and us. So it's as long as we are okay, it doesn't matter what happens to them. And I think that there should be this, people should be aware too. I mean, if nothing else, if I don't collect much money, at least people should realize, that how fortunate they are in New Zealand. Because I've been to a few hospitals here, and I've realized that, how fortunate, young kids I met who had leukemia, and they're going to survive. Whereas, in our country, these young and a lot more children, who get leukemia, they have no hope.
So is there a role for Imran Khan between New Zealand society, where you've basically established yourself, everybody knows, people want to meet you all the time, and Pakistan? Surely New Zealand's looking for trade angles too. Do you see a role for yourself there?
I didn't think of trade, really. I'm not very good at economics. I'm more thinking of human beings.
Come on, I thought you had a degree in economics.
Yeah, but my interest doesn't lie in economics. It's more, I would like if nothing else, to raise awareness here. Not New Zealand to be insular because, the world is all connected. And, also, if nothing else, people should realize how lucky they are here.
I think there's one way that we could do this, Imran, where you could really help us as well. 41, you're looking in good shape. You've been on to Richard Hadley to come back. You could take out temporary citizenship and come and open our bowling, couldn't you?
I'm afraid even I couldn't do anything right now. But Richard Hadley could. I'm sure he could, I retired in 1987, and I actually came back really because the head of my country said, listen, the country needs you. So even though you are no longer going to be at your peak, it'll be an ego problem because, suddenly batsmen were hitting me all around the place. And my heart wasn't on it. in cricket, but I came back because, I thought, okay, the country might benefit. And the last 2.5 years, I only played for the hospital because I had to give it the publicity. And even though, I was no longer the player I was, I still got a lot of satisfaction out of a superior cause to myself. So maybe Richard could come back again, I mean, so what if it's it's a comeback? I mean, so what? And so what if he might not be the bowler he was, but still he might be able to help New Zealand?
Imran, the hospital's almost established. And then you've got the problem of maintaining it, but I'm suggesting to you that you'll be looking for some other goal. Have you got that in mind yet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I mean, the fulfillment and satisfaction I got out of even watching this huge structure coming up and the expectations of the people of me, that has been so fulfilling to me that, in fact, that's all I want to do. And I know after this hospital, once it opens, once this major breakthrough, the doors open, then I would like to work in the field of education in Pakistan. Because we have, or you might not know, we've got barely 25% literacy in Pakistan, and it's falling. Population is increasing. So I would like to start a sort of movement of literacy in the country.
How do you feel about New Zealand? Have you got a lot of warmth for the people of this country? Like, I hated you that day at Eden Park,
And especially some of the people kept saying, they were remembering 2 years back or 3 years back, I'd call a New Zealand team as a second 11 coming to Pakistan, and people got worked up about it for some reason. Anyway, I mean, all I can say is that, in Australia and New Zealand, I mean, not just in New Zealand, I've had such a lot of warmth here. I've enjoyed playing cricket in these two countries. I didn't play as much in New Zealand, I played a lot more in Australia. But, and also the way they look at sportsmen, the sportsmen here get a lot of respect.
Imran, we've loved having you here. Congratulations on the project, and people who want to assist you, I'm sure they'll make their donations to the Bank of New Zealand.
Thank you.
Sky's presenters are dressed by Cambridge Fine Tailoring, with ties by Satori.